Welcome to User and I, the channel where I explore all things UX and UI design. And today we're back with our second to last Gestalt Principle, and that is figure and ground. This principle is all about how people instinctively see objects as figure and ground. A better way to describe this would be figure would be equal in elements in the foreground and ground would be elements in the background. And the brain does this as a way to simplify an image. As UX and UI designers, we can differentiate between background and foreground in quite a few ways, probably ways you've used in the past actually. Blurred backgrounds, size, color contrast, and isolation. And we're going to look at a few examples of that now. Good example from luxury accommodation website Plum Guide, we've got a pop-up. Now what we can see is that it's the language and currency pop-up from the right that someone's clicked on. But what happens is that we have a grayed out background which immediately makes the pop-up itself more front and center. And what our brains immediately does is that we start to focus on that pop-up itself. And this is pretty much figure and ground taking place in real time. Another example of this using the Apple website, which they do very well, is isolation. So completely black screen, new device is front and center, usually on its own, and then they've got a minimal amount of text. It's a great way to communicate to a user that this is what the focus of this page is, and Apple do it all the time. But we also find figure and ground in different parts of Apple's ecosystem. Let's take into example their messaging. If you click and hold a message, it blurs the entire background again, bringing into focus the one message that you'd like to respond to. And our brains immediately ignore the background, partly because we can't make out any sort of visual association of what's there anymore, but also because there's something front and center. And this is how figure and ground works in all of our designs. Once again, I'm pretty sure we've used this in some way, shape or form, we just didn't know what was at play on a psychological level. And this is why this series is so important and so fun to explore. And that's it for figure and ground. Coming to the end of our series, and I hope you stuck with me for all 8. We're going to move on to common region next. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the last one.